in the tube? Welcome down the new scroll hole where we've been breaking and decoding the matrix of the Christopher Watts family annihilator case. The mistress NK, aka Nikki, aka Agent Nikki, aka Chris Watts handler? Question mark. Let's get into some things that you guys commented in the comments, some things we noted, and this is all allegedly. So let's break it down.
From then on, it was just like, she always went up to shenanigans like, I didn't need a ring like that when I was your age. I didn't need all these fancy things when I was your age. All these fancy things when I was your age. I didn't need a ring like that when I was your age. I didn't need all these fancy things. Just kind of kept boiling over, and then they never agreed on anything. It was just like, we didn't really need their help to do anything. We just like, so we'll just pay for it ourselves.
Now let's listen to Nicole Kessinger's law enforcement witness interview.
I would never put myself in a situation where someone was like, you know what, we're going to live in this house that costs like double what we can afford, and that's how it's going to be, because I want everybody to think we're fancy. Because I wouldn't do that. I mean, to me, like, I wouldn't put up with somebody doing that to me.
Let's get into Agent Tammy Lee.
Yeah, it was like, when we first met, like, it was at a movie theater. My cousin's ex-wife set us up.
You were dressed like shit, weren't you?
I
think that's what you told me.
Yeah, I didn't know, like, that.
Before I have any games.
So she was fancy and he was in like shorts and tennis shoes or something, right?
Shoes and, like, I should have known the doorman, was in a suit. And I was just like, this isn't good. And like, when
she at the theater?
It was a fancy theater, right?
It was in Charlotte. It was called the Epicenter, and apparently they give you like champagne and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, this is a fancy date night theater.
Yeah.
Because I would never put myself in a situation where someone was like, you know what, we're going to live in this house that costs like double what we can afford, and that's how it's going to be, because I want everybody to think we're fancy.
So I just made her like kind of take a step back and wonder what she was doing. And I just, told her like, hey, just because of what's going, like, just because I had to leave doesn't mean like, you have to just take a step. I was like comforting her at some point. I don't even know why I was doing it. Maybe I knew I was too far gone at that point, but.
So what did she say to you, Nikki?
She was in the shower and she said, okay. And then that's like, when I talked about, I calm her down, she's on the phone.
And was she like, we're breaking up, like we're not gonna, I can't do this?
No, she said like she didn't want to, like she didn't think it was safe, or it was good for us to see each other anymore that day, like the rest of that day, just because of all that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And she asked me to come over like later on after she got back from her baseball game.
And so you did that?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the second one like?
It was basically about the same thing. She was, I didn't really know it at one point, but I guess she had set up a couple dates with like some eHarmony app or something, and they never showed up. And she'd already made plans with me, and
Wait, what do you mean? She set up dates when she had plans with you?
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
I guess she kind of figured out they weren't going to show up. She went, I guess when she went to the baseball game, they never showed up, and there was another one, and never showed up either.
So she's actively dating other people while
I
you guys
didn't know
together?
it until like a couple weeks later.
And how'd you find out?
She told me.
What'd she say?
It was one conversation where I actually kind of fell asleep on the couch, and then like she had told me like, I'm not sure why she even told me about it, but it was very random, and she could tell that it kind of like took me back a little bit, because I figured she would have told me that if she was actively still like looking around. I mean, she didn't have to tell me, but I figured she would.
Do you think she told you though so that it would hurry you up and
make a decision?
you're making a decision?
It might have been.
had brought up the fact that maybe it was Shanann's fault. It's common in these types of cases that there's some victim blaming, so that it's easier for the suspect to say, yeah, it wasn't all just me. Like, I did it because they pushed me to it, or I was forced to do it.
You're so damn sexy.
Today we're going to get into some more sussy sussness regarding Nicole Kessinger, who's so damn sexy. And a Darko Petroleum. The place that Chris Watts, as well as his mistress, worked, where he had heartlessly and viciously dumped Shanann's body at and shoved the girls' little bodies in the tar batteries there. And the sussy thing is that Nicole Kessinger's stepmommy was Chris Watts' boss. And then we have Shanann, who is so fancy.
Because I want everybody to think we're fancy.
All these fancy things when I was your age.
She was fancy and he was in fancy theater, right?
Oh, this is a fancy date night.
We all know about your new appliances, Rachel. Your new car, etc. We're not here to talk about your fancy ways.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means she's calling you a bitch.
Falling asleep during hypnosis, can you still benefit? You'd be surprised. The electrical activity of the brain can be measured by sensitive medical equipment, such as EEG machine. Brain waves are measured in pulses per second on what is known as the Hertz frequency scale.
You're so damn sexy.
Scientists measured and classified 4 generally accepted ranges of brainwave activity that occur as you transition from wakeful alertness all the way down into deep sleep. Beta, normal wakeful alertness. In this phase, you are active, busy, conscious, and focused on your surroundings. Alpha, feeling present, quiet, and meditative. In this phase, you are in a state of mental and physical relaxation while still being somewhat aware of your surroundings. You are alert but calm. This is also considered to be a light trance state. The alpha state is ideal for learning new information and creative problem solving. Strong internal focus coupled with a feeling of being deeply relaxed to the point of drowsiness. It's a state of being half awake and half asleep, like daydreaming. This is a deep state of trance. In this phase, you have easy access to your creative imagination and vivid mental imagery.
It was one conversation where I actually kind of fell asleep on the couch, and then she had told me I'm not sure why she even told me about it, but it was very random, and she could tell that it kind of took me back a little bit because
Delta, deep dreamless sleep. In this phase, you are unconscious with very slow brainwave activity. The activities of learning and personal development are best achieved during the trance states at either the alpha and theta levels of brainwave activity. When you're in deep sleep at the delta level, the brain puts a lot of things on hold while it focuses on healing, rest, and recoup. Testing for sleep versus trance. Imagine you're listening to a hypnosis program. You gladly drift into a deep state of relaxation and lose track of time. Suddenly, you wake up as the session is ending, feeling like you've just taken a nap. You might even feel guilty about sleeping through the hypnosis session.
I had no idea what was going to happen. After everything, I don't even know how I was even acting even normal to people that I was around. Because when Troy and Cody and Chad and Melissa and all them, when they showed up on the site, I don't even know how I was even being somewhat even coherent what I was saying, but apparently they understood me. So I didn't know what was going to happen. Like I said, this wasn't something some Criminal Minds type.
Well thought out.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing like that.
You're just minute by minute at that point.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on.
The important question is this: at what point did you actually emerge? There's 2 options here. 1, Did you emerge coincidentally at the same time that the hypnosis program was ending? Or 2, did you emerge an hour or 2 later, well after the completion of the program? If you find yourself emerging at the conclusion of the audio or verbal programming, then you're actually emerging from a deep level of trance known in the hypnosis world as somnambulism. The truth about somnambulism is that you lose conscious recollection.
Was there any reason why the separate ones?
No, it's like you said. It was like
The truth about somnambulism is that you lose conscious recollection.
I can't even tell you. It was like I said, like something else was in control of what I was doing, and it was like I was doing something I never thought I would ever do in my life.
You can actually experience amnesia for what you just listened to during the hypnosis session. This is common, deep trance phenomena that occurs at the theta level of brainwave activity.
Harmony app or something, and they never showed up. And she'd already made plans with me, and
Wait, what do you mean? She set up dates when she had plans with you?
Yeah.
Why would she do that?
I guess she kind of figured out they weren't going to show up. She went, I guess when she went to the baseball game, they never showed up, and there was another one, and never showed up either.
So she's actively dating other people while
I
you guys
didn't
are
know it
together?
until like a couple weeks later.
How how'd you find out?
She told me.
What'd she say?
It was one conversation where I actually kind of fell asleep on the couch, and then like she had told me, like, I'm not sure why she even told me about it, but it was really random, and she could tell that it kind of like took me back a little bit, because I figured she would have told me that if she was actively still like looking around.
It's a very deep level of relaxation, so it feels like you've been napping. Even though your conscious mind drifted off, your subconscious mind was alert and fully tuned in. In fact, it faithfully followed the suggestions to emerge at the end of the hypnotic session.
We all know about your new appliances, Rachel. Your new car, etc. We're not here to talk about your fancy ways.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means she's calling you a bitch.